Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. There is so many things to discuss today, which is very, very weird to be saying that out loud because you would think after 10 months and so many of us that being so many different independent YouTubers and, you know, investigators and journalists, you would think that we had covered all things, but I mean, things are just constantly opening themselves up and it's just amazing. It's amazing. So many things to cover in today's episode that I needed an extra 10 minutes to get prepared because I want to make sure I get everything uh in order. And I still don't think I have everything in order, but that's okay. We'll figure things out as we go. Hit the like button on your way in. That helps a lot. I would really, 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 really appreciate it. Hitting the button takes us a long way. I have to remember to post this on Patreon so that people on Patreon can be notified because I know YouTube is not notifying people. That reminds me to say, make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. If you want to be subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you're still subscribed because YouTube will unsubscribe you without your knowledge. Make sure that the notification bell is here. That is to say, once you hit the subscribe button, YouTube gives you the option to hit a typically the bell is a gold color, but you get to hit a bell that should notify you every time that we go live. All right. And so yeah, link in the description to the merch store if you want to support us that way. Link in the description to the Patreon if you want to support us that way. Before we get into our first clip and before we get into our first post that we're going to read out loud, I want to preface this video because this will be very important. The other day I told you all that I told my Patreon members that the long anticipated video about Kobe Bryant, the first part of what I presume will probably be an 8 or 9, maybe even 10-part series. The first part of that was released on Patreon. That will be relevant in today's video pertaining to Erika, Kirk, Charlie Kirk, and the likes. Excuse me. In that video, we discuss a multitude of things. One of the things we discussed is that I believe that Kobe Bryant was an actor. And something you typically find with these people on the world stage is that they either come from a family that indulge in multiple things. And a lot of times they come from a family who are already in Hollywood, already in the music industry, already in the high ranking military. You typically find this, and or that person in particular that we're discussing, they typically indulge in multiple different things. Kobe Bryant was one of those people because Kobe Bryant, his father, who I did not discuss in part one because that would be way too early in the research to be discussing his father, but his father played in the NBA. I do believe that Kobe Bryant was an MK Ultra asset. What do you mean by that? I believe he grew up in the programming. That is to say, he come from, I believe, to be a Freemasonic family. I do believe that Kobe Bryant knew what his role was going to be on the world stage. I know that sounds like conspiracy theory to a lot of people, but when you watch the series, it's going to be very hard to deny it, especially when each video is about an hour long, full of undeniable, irrefutable information. Why is this important? Because I believe there are actors that are involved in a plethora of different, there are actors that are involved in these very public psyops on multitude of levels. Actors that play a major role, and then you have crisis actors. Their role is still important, but they're off to the side. You're going to understand once again in this video why that's extremely, extremely important. All right. Try to remember to look at the chat so that I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, you all can hear me. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Hunter Kozak once again, except I have a clip of who I believe to be his family member. And we're going to discuss Hunter Kozak again because some of you are already aware that Erika Kirk slipped up and said something during her Barry Weiss interview that maybe somebody else has already covered, or maybe you've seen it on social media already. I don't know. But we're going to discuss it on this channel, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I believe that actually exposes about Erika Kirk. We're also, there's so many things, man. We're going to discuss some questions that I have. And one of those questions, why I have it fresh on my mind, let's see. In my last live pertaining to Candace, we discussed some photos. One of the photos we discussed is this one here. All right. And we see this material here with the what looks to be the dried up red liquid on it, right? So that was photo 1, and here's photo 2. You can see here in these photos that, I mean, it's undeniable that there's dried red liquid all over the seats. And before we get into today's episode, I'm just going to go ahead and just hit you all with a question that's extremely important. And that is to say, why is there more red liquid inside of the SUV, on the seats, potentially on the floor, and on other materials inside of the SUV, but we don't see a lick of red liquid dripping from Charlie Kirk's body on the way to the SUV? I'm going to ask that question again. Why does there seem to be an exorbitant amount of dried up red liquid, the BLOOD word, inside of the SUV, yet we don't see even a drop come from Charlie's body on the way to the SUV? Part of the reason I'm asking this question is because I made a post yesterday and of a very long list of red flags pertaining to TPUSA. And I'm going to share that here so that we're all on the same page. Okay. Now let me do this. Let's see. Let me see if I do this right. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Let me see how close up that is. Okay, that can be a little bit closer on you all's end. So let me make this a little bit closer. All right, that should be pretty good for most people to be able to see. All right, and I want to get rolling here because this is going to be, I have so many things to show you all, and you want to stick around for this live. I promise you want to stick around. It says for TPUSA to have had nothing to do with the Charlie Kirk event. Notice how I worded this. To have had nothing to do with the Charlie Kirk event. I know what most people are thinking, or what most people want this to say or to mean, which is for TPUSA to have had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's demise. But that's not what I said. For TPUSA to have had nothing to do with the Charlie Kirk event, all of these would have had to be pure coincidences. Number 1, no ambulance were present at UVU. Number 2, UVU told Charlie's team they could not secure the location and recommend moving the event. Charlie's team insisted it stay in the same spot. UVU was booked on extremely short notice, an anomaly for events that are normally scheduled far in advance. 4, none of the Charlie's security team drew the weapons after he was shot. In addition, Charlie's quote-unquote security team carried him to the SUV like a worthless sack of potatoes. And as I just stated, there seems to be no red liquid dripping from his body at any point in time, which is interesting to me. Number 5, Charlie wore a white shirt for the first time, quote, to make the quote-unquote bullet wound and red liquid appear obvious. 6, Charlie's road mic was mounted with the microphone next to his chest instead of the magnet. 7, no one on Charlie's team called 911. 8, Charlie's security waved off first responders, loaded him into the SUV. They didn't even wait. They took matters into their own hands without securing the wound and allowed him to allegedly bleed out. 9, no one on Charlie's team ever mentioned the road mic shattering. 10, Frank Turek and Brian Harpo gave conflicting accounts of what happened inside the SUV. 11, Charlie's road mic, phone, shirt, pants, and necklace were never turned over to police as evidence. 12, Governor Cox and FBI Director Patel ordered the immediate excavation of the 20 by 20 area where Charlie was seated, followed by emergency paver installation before the site was released to the public. And that has to be one of the most suspicious things out of all the things that we've come across. 13. The security team and other TPUSA personnel allegedly got rid of their clothes. 14. TPUSA sent the car to auction ASAP. 15. The Discord messages they say Tyler Robinson sent as a confession were sent after, only after, and I believe it was as early as an hour and a half after he was Mirandized. Brian Harpo or anybody never booked security for the next day's event. He also didn't have travel plans either, as if they knew Charlie Kirk wouldn't be available. 17. The USA guy starts chanting as a distraction while security is behind the table, quote unquote, dealing with Charlie. 18. George Zinn drops his pants as a distraction just as Charlie is being moved to the car. 19. The security detail appears to have brought their own crime scene tape to secure the area. 20. Terrell Farnsworth, who we're about to discuss in just a moment, quote unquote, secured the SD card footage behind Charlie's head and left the expensive cameras, despite him claiming that he took them, or allegedly claiming this to Candace Owens, that he took the SD card because they were valuable, but he left the expensive cameras. SD cards also were not given over as evidence. The CCTV footage reportedly removed from the hospital. We're going to come back to 21, by the way. We're about to come back to 21. 22. Surgeon reportedly at some point blocked access to Charlie Kirk. Allegedly, reportedly. I don't know if that's true. 23. The big one. Mikey McCoy and Blake Neff immediately walks away before even seeing what happened to Charlie. Mikey never runs, never ducks for cover, never panics. He remains calmly on the phone the entire time while walking away. 24. Several people recording themselves on their phones. 25. Erika immediately got Charlie's phone and lied about what was on it. 26. The Tennessee ammo plant was blown to smithereens not long after, therefore destroying potential evidence. CC copy Trisha Hope. That is to say, the first 15 things on this list I took from Trisha Hope on Twitter to share what she had found, and I expanded it. And then I ended this off by saying, let me know what I left out, which many of you all have already started to do. Now, there's something. Speaking of, I want to go to a response that somebody sent. Let's see here. A lot of you all were responding. Forgive me for skipping over it, but we need to go to somebody in particular. Shout out to Jesse on fire. Let's see here. Where is it at? I'll know because I responded to this person, and we had a back and forth, a healthy back and forth. As a matter of fact, I know a quicker way to find it. There it is. 17 hours ago. Okay. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, I found it. So let's share this again because this is about to be a big deal. A lot of you all may or may not like what you're about to read. That's okay. Let me see how it shows up on you all's end. Okay. So somebody responded and they said the chair through the table. This is to say this person is listing something else that I missed or I left off the list. They say chair through table, ring jumps fingers. Did he used to mention that? Somebody named Kathleen responded, says, I want to know more about this, please. This person says, there was video fakery used. When Charlie was allegedly ended, we see a chair pass right through a table as the actors are swarming to him. We also see his ring move to another finger. There are other anomalies. There literally wasn't even police response or a crime scene. Not one person acted in a way one would expect. I agree with that. It was staged, and this entire event is scripted. Candace is in on it too. So many with tunnel vision, basically ignoring real news. And I'm trying to highlight this as I read it so you all can keep up. As every time Agent Candace drops a breadcrumb, she feeds the mindless slaves to their soap opera. Charlie was throwing out Trump hats, was his friend, helped get JD Vance in, etc. But this crowd of sheep who think they are awake idolize Charlie and say he had changed his ways based on a handful of things he said towards the end. Again, all a part of the script. Candace is banking off of that one scripted story alone. Didi has made a lot of money from it too. I assume there was a very powerful expose on Candace's husband, and it covered her some too. Very powerful. Didi mentioned it and let it go. He likes the money and truth within this script. He likes the money and truth within this scripted nonsense. So Didi and others ignore the documentary by Mind Unveiled. Now ignore the things he used to discuss about it being faked. Candace, of course, is steering her idolaters down a dead end as gatekeepers do. This absurd microphone did its story ignores all the visible fakery and countless anomalies. Okay. To this person's surprise, I actually saw it. I said, just so you know, I both read and liked this comment. Despite you lying on me, I have not let go of the theory that Charlie faked it. In fact, I just mentioned it again on my last video 2 days ago and plan to do it again today. I am 50-50 on it, unlike most people. Most people 100% believe he is deceased, which again, I understand why anybody that will believe that. I understand why you believe it. But I have good reason to believe that the opposite may have happened, which is why I'm still 50-50. He says, my apologies. In my haste, I forgot to add what I should have and meant to, stating that I haven't listened in a while, and therefore you might have mentioned it again. From the titles, what I've heard, I was wrongly thinking you moved on from that. Am I wrong about you ignoring the powerful documentary for Mind Unveiled? I was watching you live right after they came out, and the comment section was on fire with focus on it. You acknowledged it, but that's all I ever heard. And I was still listening to you for a bit before I just couldn't handkerchief this scripted soap opera anymore. Did you ever focus on that doc? Candace is an agent. I'm an original 9/11 truther who's been at this heavily for 21 years. Candace is some rare once-in-a-lifetime savior who met with not Netanyahu years ago and was with Team Evil and now switched. I appreciate you replying and again apologize for wrongly suggesting you've left the fakery part. In my opinion, the physical impossibilities we saw on camera and the endless anomalies, as you have so well and frightfully pointed out, negate so much of the nonsense. Agent Candace and her PSYOP team likely have little nuggets with big reveals here and there planned for a while. Charlie was evil and still is evil somewhere. Him tickling some ears maybe 15 times doesn't cut it. Thanks. Now, I could keep going, but you all are not here to listen to me read comments. There's a reason why I read this. I read this comment out loud because I want to remind people that there's a lot of moving parts here that I'm still confused about, which is part of the reason I started off this live with, why is there so much red liquid inside of the SUV, but we don't see any? I mean, just a drop. Give me a drop of it. Because you're going to say, well, they patched the wounds and they clogged the wound. And that's, but there should be something with as much that was taking place with him. I would imagine to see something or for it to be all over his shirt. I'm not here. The point of this video is not to convince you that Charlie is alive, but I'm just here to convince you all to just do some thinking, because I am not here to say that I know for 100% of a fact that Candace is an agent and she's in on it. But what I do know is that majority of the people that are following this story do not like it when you question anybody like a Candace Owens, like anybody else that may be on our side of things trying to figure out the truth. Most people think that they want the truth of what happened to Charlie, but I don't think that's the case. I think most people want to know if Charlie was set up and who's responsible and how we can get them held responsible. That's what I think people want to know. I don't think people actually want to know the truth, because if the truth is that Charlie was potentially in on it, then people won't be interested in it anymore because they like Charlie a lot. That's my personal opinion. And some things I'm going to present to you in today's video is going to make that a little bit more difficult. Part of the reason I've not fully, with 100% confidence, come out and said that I believe Candace is an agent and she's in on it is because the truth is, if I'm going to be fair, I have to be fair on both sides. And the fair part of it is, the objective part of it is, Candace Owens, and only because of Candace Owens, a lot of the things that Candace has shared is the reason why I question if Charlie is still alive. You want me to believe that Candace, hold on, let me put this up on the screen. You want me to believe, before we get to Mr. Hunter Kozak and Erika Kirk,
tellings of what took place in that car.
Let me just fast forward to this here.
Are like the meetings with Doug DeGroot talking about investments and what you're going to do. Is that what they're pumping Mikey with right now? Hey, Mikey, you're going to be the next Charlie. We're going to make so much money. Here's the video right here. We're showing you. Look at Mikey right there. The black behind. Look at him.
So this is part of the issue I have, and we're not going to spend much time on this because we've already discussed this, because I have many more things to get to. A casket coming out of a hospital. I'm going to state this unequivocally. I may be in the minority, but that's okay. I am not convinced that Charlie Kirk went to the hospital. Where's the proof of that? And I don't mean to state that in such a tone as if to say that he didn't go to the hospital. Not my position. I'm not so sure I believe he ever went to a hospital, because conveniently, as I listed, the CCTV footage from the hospital was taken by the FBI. So we have no proof other than what other content creators are telling us, insiders are telling them, right? Where's the proof that Charlie even went to the hospital? I don't know if Charlie ever went to a hospital, let alone if Charlie ever actually lost his life. Do I believe it's possible that he lost his life? Yes. But if I'm being objective and I'm exiting out all the noise and I'm thinking for myself as a human being with common sense, where's the proof Charlie went to a hospital? We see a casket coming out of a room. I don't know that this is the hospital. Why would a casket be at a hospital? Here's another big question. Why did Charlie's security have their own SUVs in Salt Lake that they drove to Orem? Because remember, for those of you that forgot, Charlie Kirk apparently did some sort of podcast that morning. And I only know that because of Candace Owens. So you have to give the woman credit where it's due. I'm skeptical if Charlie is even deceased because of content that I only saw through Candace. You have to give credit. So if it's her job to try to lead us astray and entertain the possibility that Charlie is alive, well, she's doing a bad job, because some of the stuff she's sharing is making me question it even more. But remember, he did a podcast that morning. Why did Charlie's security have their own SUVs in Salt Lake that they drove to Orem instead of airport rentals? Right? Because remember, they're from Arizona. The headquarters, at least, in Arizona. Because Charlie was due to fly out of SLC after the UVU event, remember? And then on 9/11, the following day, He had an event scheduled in Colorado. Why or how would his security team have their own vehicles? Maybe that there is a simple answer to that, but I find that odd too. All right. Now, I want to get to a couple of things, but let's go here first. I thought this was interesting and very important to read aloud. So I've covered her before. This woman is by the name of Leah at Leah Fowles. I think you all are going to find this very, very interesting. Listen to what she said. I have never been a fan of the quote, Charlie Kirk faked his death theory. Never made sense to me. But after analyzing their 2025 financials, either one, everyone in that org's leadership and board was in on it and setting all of it up around him, meaning he was just signing away, not realizing what was going on, or they signed for him without him knowing, which would be very hard, but not impossible, and illegal if caught, obviously. Or number two, he faked his death. That theory actually isn't insane to me anymore, just based on what was going on financially. Just saying. I'm publishing it this week. Just a heavy lift and wanted to give it the time it deserved. You can tell me what conclusion you come to afterwards. This is what we're saying. Those of us that are stating that we believe that there's a good chance that Charlie Kirk is alive is not because we want to be outliers or we just wanted to be contrarians or we just want to be different from everybody else or stand out or go viral, which, surprise, surprise, none of us have went viral for saying that. It's because we're just looking at what happened and we're using common sense and saying, what are the possibilities here? And the truth is, that's on the table. Not just because of what happened physically on September the 10th in Utah, but because of Brian the Auditor's work. Brian the Auditor, reminding everybody, did not just do a Doge-style audit on Turning Point USA this past year, this past 2 years. This man, that's why our video was like 2 hours long. Brian the Auditor went back like 6, 7 years, 8 years. He did phenomenal work. He had been working on it well before September. It just so happened that the event took place. He was like, okay, I guess now is the time to present what I've been working on the past however many months. It's not just what happened, which are countless anomalies and red flags and question marks and coincidences on September 10th on the UVU campus. It's the financials. It's the financials. And a lot of people won't entertain it because Charlie was around for that. Charlie was around for that. Right? That's kind of a big deal. So, with that, I want to remind everybody, please hit the like button on your way in. It helps tremendously. Let's get into the juicy part. Let's discuss Hunter Kozak. Hunter Kozak, for those of you that don't remember, is the kid who was, and I'm sure all of you all remember, but I have to state this just in case somebody is new to this, they don't remember, it may have slipped their minds. Hunter Kozak is the kid who just so happened to be the person that was questioning Charlie Kirk when everything took place. We're about to watch like 3 or 4 clips from Hunter Kozak. And the anomalies, the red flags, the question marks, the weirdness just stacks up. And it stacks up so much that you have to, at some point, in my opinion, stop asking the question, was he in on setting up Charlie? And I believe you have to shift and say, was he in on it with Charlie? Even if the answer comes out to be no. You're going to have to ask that question at some point. Because as we've already stated, I'm not presenting this as if it's new information, but this is very important because I'm going to give this to you and then we're going to circle back, right? And then we're going to discuss something else as it pertains to Hunter Kozak. But we have to set the foundation first. This is Hunter Kozak before Charlie even arrived. Let's run that back. This is before Charlie arrived. Obviously, we've seen this a gazillion times. This is Hunter Kozak clearly doing what appears to be rehearsing. Who would be doing that? That doesn't even look natural to me personally. He does the same exact thing verbatim, bro. I say verbatim. Like literally he does the same exact thing. Well, why am I mentioning this? Because Hunter Kozak, in my opinion, is an actor. What do I mean by actor? Earlier, I mentioned Kobe Bryant. I have a Kobe Bryant series on Patreon. Patreon, link to the Patreon is in the description if you want to check it out. And one watch of that series, you're going to realize this is not just conspiracy theories. These people are not who we think they are. I believe Kobe Bryant was an actor on the world stage. And remember when I said they typically have multiple roles and multiple different avenues that they partake in. Kobe Bryant was a basketball player. Kobe Bryant was a musician. Kobe Bryant did music. I think he dropped an album. I know Shaquille O'Neal did. We all know Shaquille O'Neal is a Freemason. He's in a fraternity. He's very open about those things. Just so happened to be teammates with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a basketball player. Kobe Bryant was really good at music, at rapping. Kobe Bryant was good at playing different instruments. Kobe Bryant spoke multiple different languages. Kobe Bryant won an Oscar, which even the Oscar, the instrument for the Oscar is esoteric and very occultic in itself. That has a very esoteric meaning as well, but I digress. You say, well, he's just ultra talent. He's just oozing with talent. No, that's not. The point is, these actors typically play different roles and they can maneuver in different spaces and thrive in them, right? Why is this important? In that series, I compare him to Will Smith, who is also from Philadelphia, just like Kobe Bryant, who spent most of his career in Hollywood, in LA, just like Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant and Will Smith have quite a few things in common. You have to go check out the video to see it. I have exposed on YouTube for free. You can go and check this out. We've all seen the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Classic series. The intro to that show is one of the most demonic, right there in your face. I sold my soul to be here. I'm not who you think I am. Video I've ever seen in my life. Because we've seen it 100 times in our life, thousands of times. We never thought to slow it down and actually read what was on the wall when Will Smith is turning upside down in the chair in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground when I spend most of my days, chilling and relaxing, and that is so toony and catchy. But if you slow it down and look at the symbols in that video, Will Smith is telling you who he is. The producers are telling you who Will Smith is. I broke that down on YouTube. Why is this important? I believe Hunter Kozak is an actor. Hunter Kozak's father is Steve Kozak. Steve Kozak is the director of research and clearances for the Jimmy Kimmel Show and has been for the past 2 decades. Jimmy Kimmel, as we know, got suspended or was temporarily suspended for insensitive remarks about Charlie Kirk. He had a role to play, that being Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, who runs the Jimmy Kimmel Show, performs out of a Freemason lodge. This is public information. Jimmy Kimmel's show is ran out of a Freemason lodge. Just like I believe that Will Smith is an actor playing an actor in Hollywood. Will Smith, also good in music, good in acting, good at a plethora of different things. He thrived in all those spaces, just like Kobe Bryant. This is going to tie into Erika Kirk in just a moment. Hunter Kozak comes from a family, being his father, has worked in a Freemason lodge over the past 2 decades. I have reason to believe that these people all know each other. Allegedly. Everything in this life is alleged. I believe all these people know each other. And I believe Erika Kirk is going to help us believe that. Let's go to our let's go to our clip here.
As you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot. And
I've already stated this before. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record on this show. I do not make videos just to repeat things that I've already said just to make money. That's never been my deal. But it's important to repeat things if they're relevant in this particular video. In this case, it is. Notice how Barry Weiss here, she says, a UVU or a Utah Valley student, Hunter Kozak. She didn't have to say his name. She said his name because it's important. Another thing is, why does it even matter that Hunter Kozak was the person that was asking Charlie a question? Who cares? Why did you not just get another one of the students? Why is Hunter Kozak the person that you chose? Because Hunter Kozak is playing a role. Hunter Kozak is a part of the whole script. He's a part of the whole show. Now, again, a lot of people just think, no, they set up Charlie. Stop deflecting. They don't understand what's played here. I can't save you. I don't know what to tell you. You want me to just pander to the Charlie was taken out and set up by everybody, which may be true. But even if that is the case, this guy, Hunter Kozak, was not just conveniently asking a question. It was intentional. Because remember, I showed you all the Tucker Carlson clip a couple of days ago. Tucker Carlson sat down with this guy who was gaslighting him. And what is one of the things he said? Somebody later told me that this guy that was talking with Tucker was apparently Donald Trump's social media advisor, I believe it is. Gina, I think you were probably the one that emailed me that. I think Gina said that this guy that was interviewing with Tucker that we covered the other day was Donald Trump's social media advisor. Why is that important? Because all of these people are in on it, which is why Trump never stressed out about what happened to Charlie. Think about this. We're making some connections here. Just think about this. The gentleman said to Tucker, well, I think jumping to he said, quote, I think jumping to conclusions will not help anybody because a lot of people are stating that Israel did it. And I think stating that without evidence is dangerous. But here's the most important part. He goes on to say, I think what the feds told us, which is he was unalived by some radical trans furry kid when Charlie was just so happened to be answering a question about trans violence. We have no other reason than to believe then that's probably most likely why they took Charlie out. Hold up. You're going to state that it was remarkable timing that Charlie was answering a question about trans violence, gun violence, that was when he was taken out. You don't find that suspicious. You find that convenient. You're saying that proves that Charlie was taken out by somebody that was a trans or a trans lover. Really? See, the point that I'm trying to get you all to see here is, do you see what they do? Do you see what they do? They use something that's right there in your face telling you this is scripted. There's something wrong here. There's something off here. They're telling on us. They're telling on themselves right in our face, just like the Will Smith show. Because Will Smith is an actor playing an actor in Hollywood, just like Kobe Bryant was an actor playing a basketball player in Hollywood. Think about something. Why would he use that as an example or as justification as to why we should believe that Charlie was taken out by a trans lover? No, that's a reason you should be suspicious. He flipped it. Let's see why that's relevant here.
Erika, as you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Why would you even travel all the way to ask Erika a question if you're Hunter? Who are these people, bro? If you're Hunter Kozak, you don't have something better to do in your life than to travel all the way across the country or wherever you travel across states to just ask Erika a question? How did they get in contact with Hunter? Hunter's not a victim. Well, I think we're about to find out why.
Hi there. Erika, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity. And I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message: hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that turning point has been asking Democrats to decry the individuals who cheer for violence. I have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation. So in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
I appreciate your question. You know my heart. Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people?
So I was telling you before that I have reason to believe that a lot of these people know each other because that's typically how it works. What did Erika mean when she said to him, "You know my heart"? This is supposed to be our first time ever meeting this person. Correct? Half the people that are conservatives that follow TPUSA didn't as of 8-10 months ago and still currently right now don't really know Erika Kirk's heart. How does she expect Hunter Kozak to know it?
Person on earth.
I appreciate your question. You know my heart.
You know my heart. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Unless he does know her heart. Right? Unless he personally know Erika. But like I stated before, let's take it a step further because that was very, very strange. Remember when I told you all that they typically come from a family that is involved in either the military, in Hollywood, or the music industry? Well, Hunter Kozak's father is quite literally that. What a coincidence. Well, I have another one for you. because there's a situation that took place back in 2021 when a kid in Utah pulled a gun or brought a gun to school. And I want you all to take a look and listen to the person they decided to interview of all the parents at this school. Let's see who they decided to interview on the news following this situation regarding gun violence. So it says Lehigh police take student into custody for having weapon in class. Let's check it out.
Parents in Lehigh asking the Alpine School District for more information tonight after they say a child brought a gun to school. The district tells us one student was taken into custody and a weapon was recovered. ABC4's Jason Wynn has more on this story tonight from Lehigh Junior High School.
Melissa Kozak says she got a call from her 8th grader she didn't expect.
I don't want to scare you, but a kid has a gun here at school, and everything is okay, but I just want to go home. Can you come and get me?
Several parents tell us the student who allegedly brought a gun to school showed and told several students it was loaded. Kozak says she's worried about her boy.
There was this interaction before where that kid had threatened our son, and our son didn't know that there was a gun involved at all.
Officials with the Alpine School District will not confirm if there was a firearm found here on campus, but they're asking parents to please talk to their kids.
This is something where we suggest parents talk to your kids about the situation, you know. Don't sweep it under the rug. Just have an open dialogue with your children.
It's almost like we're trying to make it look like there was no big deal, and there is a big deal.
Steve Kozak wants more transparency from the school district.
Saying a weapon is a lot different than saying a loaded gun.
The junior high school student faces weapons charges and possible expulsion. The district says they'll email parents updates when they become available. In Lehigh, I'm Jason Wynn, ABC4 News.
Imagine being able.
Are you suspicious now? Are you even a little bit suspicious now? So what I just showed you was another situation. They never said Hunter's name, but clearly they're talking about Hunter Kozak. Not to mention Hunter Kozak, not to mention Hunter Kozak, that it looks a lot like that lady. The funny part is, didn't even realize his dad, Steve, was shown in the video. So this has to be the same Kozak. Further proof of this, let me make this I was going to do a side by side of Melissa Kozak and Hunter Kozak, and we're going to see if they look alike, and they look a lot alike to me. I'm putting that side to side together right now as we speak in real time. We're going to see if these two individuals look alike. And if you don't think it's very concerning that they're a part of two news articles, two situations involving gun violence, then you got to be out of your mind. And something else I want to show you all so that you can understand just how close, because the place that this took place, the county that this situation took place at this school in Lehigh is Utah County. Utah County, distance to Orem, Utah, which is where Charlie Kirk was taken out. You want to know the distance? 34 minutes. 34 minutes. It's right up the road from where Charlie Kirk allegedly was taken out. I don't believe any of these people. I believe they're all actors. Yeah, I believe they're all actors. Now I'm about to present to you all this side by side, and you all tell me if you think if they look alike or not. Yeah, we almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Make this a little bit bigger. And I got it. Okay, I'm about to put this on the screen, and I want you all to tell me if these two people look like. I think it's pretty straightforward that this is his mom because she said him. She kept saying my kid, but then when she finally said the gender, she said it was a boy that she was talking about. Let me put this side by side on the screen for you. You all tell me if they look alike or not. That looks like his mother to me. This is actually a very good question. I'm glad I caught this. Didi, has anyone ever come out with info as to why Charlie thought he would be put in prison by the Biden administration? What would the charges have been? Yes, Jesse on fire. Shout out to Jesse. Me and him are supposed to be doing something here pretty soon, but Jesse was the first person that I learned that from in his series as to why he believed Charlie Kirk is alive. He said he listed that as one of the motives as to why Charlie would fake his death. I don't remember the exact reason though. If somebody else remembers it, please put it in the chat for us. But this is the question I'm concerned about right now. This is his mom. This is Hunter Kozak's mom. And his dad, as I stated, has been working out of a Freemasonic lodge with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is an actor. You just so happen to get suspended from your job, and the guy who works over you, his son was the last person asking Charlie Kirk a question. Well, let's take this a step further, because this is where things get spooky. Okay. Where is the footage? All righty. For those of you that don't know, there's something else that have been trending lately. And that happens to be some additional video footage that have come out, which appears to show Hunter Kozak, all these coincidences stacking up with this kid. It appears to show Hunter Kozak interacting with Terrell Farnsworth, you know, the genius that took the SD card out of the camera because he didn't want anybody to steal it because it was so valuable, but he left the expensive cameras. Not to mention Terrell Farnsworth, from what I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, stood on the chair that Charlie was allegedly hit in. He used that chair to stand on it to get the SD card out. Let me show you this footage. And it just continues to get worse. So let me make sure we all on the same page. So what it looks like is going to put some words on the screen for you too. This is Terrell, in my opinion, undeniably interacting non-verbally with Hunter. We're going to play that one more time, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. Okay. Several things happening here. I believe what we just looked at, outside of just the words on the screen, more suspicious behavior from Hunter Kozak. And it's going to be very difficult, in my opinion, for anybody to at least argue that at the very least, Hunter Kozak did not have, we can't argue if he had foreknowledge. But I would like to argue something different, and that is if Hunter Kozak knew certain members of the TPUSA team prior to September the 10th. And my understanding is there were a group of them that would attend multiple TPUSA events. I don't think they typically that they did this primarily to to be provocateurs, right? Antagonists. I don't think they did it for that reason. I think they did it to play different roles. And what you appear to see here is Hunter Kozak is out in the open before it's his turn to ask a question, doing the pow pow symbols at Charlie Kirk. And Tara Farnsworth is clearly shaking his head here. Now, for anybody who was going to be skeptical and say, well, we don't know if he was shaking his head at Hunter Kozak. Okay, that's fair. Who was he shaking his head at then? Because the timing is very convenient. In fairness, he does have on shades, so we can't see where his eyeballs are. However, we don't see anybody else near him. So who could he be shaking his head at? We do see the behavior from Hunter Kozak. Bro, why would you even be doing that? Somebody said earlier that was Hunter's brother involved in that shooting, not Hunter. I don't know if that's true or not, but that actually doesn't change the point that was made there. It still proves that he comes from a family with related incidents. You know what I mean? It's still gun violence 34 minutes from where Charlie was taken out. And now Hunter is involved in the situation with Charlie Kirk. It's just all very normal. People don't go through this stuff and have this much luck of the draw. This is what I mean, right? Why would Hunter be doing this? What is that? And it looks like Charlie is looking at him. This makes it even worse. It looks like Charlie is looking at him. Charlie is clearly looking in that direction. Maybe the speaker is blocking him. I don't know, but it looks like Charlie can see him. Another thing, if people are wondering, like, another thing I would imagine someone would say is, well, Terrell Farnsworth is clearly looking at his phone. So maybe there's something on his phone that he's in disbelief from. Well, I mean, sure, that's possible. Uh, but I would argue at this event, he's most likely on his phone looking at the cameras. And he could potentially be seeing Hunter Kozak from the cameras on his phone motioning at Charlie with the gun hand sign. And he's shaking his head in disapproval, or at least it appears to be that way. He looks up. He's clearly looking in that direction. Hunter's pacing with this weird look on his face. Almost seemed to be grinning or smirking. Looks back over there. Bro, I don't trust any of these people. These people are actors, bro. All of them. All of them. I believe Charlie was an actor too, by the way. Whether he was set up or not, I believe he was an actor. What would he have been shaking his head at? All right. Shaking his head so much, and it bothered him so much, now he's going to turn around and talk to somebody about it. Allegedly. Maybe it's not even related. But it does appear, and this has to be Mikey McCoy, it does appear that Mikey McCoy motions for him to just stay silent. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. And yeah, the last thing, and something else I want you all to keep in mind is that you don't ever hear from Charlie Kirk's family. Has no one else found that to be beyond odd? Why have we not heard from Charlie Kirk's family? His mother, his father, his siblings, his cousins. We haven't heard from any of those people. Is that not strange to anybody? Right? And apparently, the video of Charlie Kirk appointing his predecessor, appointing the person to take over if something were to happen to him, has surfaced, right? This footage has surfaced. Many of you all, I would imagine, has already seen it. But apparently we can hear Charlie Kirk stating who he believes should take over if it were not to be him. Let's take a listen. But it might not be quite what Blakey Neff and Andrew Covett exactly what they meant or were referring to publicly. But once again, I believe they're actors, right? Let me state before I play this video, does no one find it strange? Once again, these people tend to know each other, used to be in spaces together. Blake Neff not only has a history with Tucker Carlson, of all people, Tucker Carlson, who previously had the #1 show on television. In the news realm, he had the #1 show. That person, Blake Neff, just so happened to used to work with or work for. But we're supposed to believe that these are everyday people. Just like people think Will Smith is an everyday person who worked his way to Hollywood. And I'm just using Will Smith as an example because he was mentioned in my Kobe Bryant docuseries. Kobe Bryant is another example. I could use Taylor Swift, Beyonce, right? Elvis. All these people, we want to believe that they're regular people like we are. And they work their way to where they are. They're just so ultra talented and they were discovered by the right people. These people are not who you think they are. Right? Just like there's musical entertainment, sports entertainment, there's political entertainment. I believe this Charlie Kirk event is entertainment. There's nothing wrong with watching entertainment, to be clear, but you need to know what you're watching. It becomes a problem when you think it's real life and they're getting over on you because people will truly stress themselves out. So let's hear what Charlie had to say regarding to who should be his predecessor.
Turns out Andrew and Blake weren't lying about there being a video where Charlie Kirk appoints his successor to Turning Point USA. I just don't think they're going to be that happy about who it actually is.
Here's this beautiful, articulate, energetic black woman who's going to bring truth to power. I might go into early retirement, folks, and just hand over the whole thing right here. I mean, seriously, it's unbelievable. War, I'll tell you what, I'll close with this. I'm such a believer in Candace, and if the 20th century taught us one thing, through the horror, through the slaughter, through the genocide, through the wars, the one thing it taught us is a single individual, one person, can change the course of history. Whether it be Gandhi, Winston Churchill, Ronald Reagan, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Margaret Thatcher. And I believe you're looking at one of the people that 50 years from now is going to be one of those people that will turn around. Thank you guys so much. With your help, we're going to win. Thank you.
I love the energy. My God, what they had was just so sincere and real and authentic, which we can't say at all about his marriage at this point, not even a little bit. Look how canned his introduction to Erika is.
It's my hero and the love of my life, Erika Kirk.
The words are nice, but there's nothing there.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I like the framing of that. Candace Owens is allegedly a married woman with children. And I think to insinuate or frame it that way almost makes it sound as if he cared more about Candace than he cared about his own wife. But here's the biggest part that I need people to understand when we cover these celebrities, and I do put Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk in the celebrity realm because you don't just reach like Brian the Auditor said, when the algorithm supports you, I'm suspicious. It's just what it is. You can feel how you want about it. I still feel that way today with people who are around today. When the algorithm supports you, my biggest question is how and why. Why would they support you? Why would they allow you to trend and get in front of people? Like, for example, the streaming world. I'm going to have to find a way and some time to extensively cover. There's a 4-time world champion boxers in 4 different weight classes named Adrian Broner. And he's had a drinking problem for, over 10, 15 years. And he lost everything, supposedly went broke, dealt with a lot of financial issues. And he is now back in the limelight as a streamer. And he is now streaming with this guy named Dean the Great. And they're everywhere. They're on everybody's timeline. And you can't go anywhere without seeing them, right? Because bots are posting them and third worlders and other countries are posting them for very little money. They're everywhere. And when I say that is, whenever I see that, I say to myself, there's a reason why they're forcing these people down our throats. There's a reason for that. There's something that they want. There's some message they want us to take from them. And I believe in this particular case, Adrian Broner is strongly pushing some very destructive life practices, man. And that is drinking. You talk about alcoholism to another level. Adrian Broner is being celebrated online for drinking himself into drunkenness, and sometimes even with his own children who are now teenagers, right? They're also having intercourse on camera. because it's IRL, which stands for in real life streaming. They just turn the camera on and try to do some of the most viral things in their everyday life. They try to make everyday life always some sort of fantastical thing when every human knows some days are more boring than others. But you get on their stream, it's something different. Why am I talking about this? Because I believe these people are actors making millions of dollars. Actors. You will be shut down. That's what I believe. I truly believe that. Do you all believe it's a coincidence? And this is what I want to end this live stream off with. This is very, very important. Do you believe it's a coincidence that Charlie Kirk married a woman that literally fits the description of everything I just named to you regarding Kobe Bryant and Will Smith? What do I mean? Whether you consider them great at it or not, the point is they are well connected like Kobe Bryant was, like Will Smith was or is, and they are in many different spaces and avenues like Kobe Bryant was and Will Smith is. What do I mean? Charlie Kirk presented himself to be a traditional man with conservative values. Yet he married a woman who was older than him, which you almost never hear about that. Not the end of the world. She's older than him. Men typically like younger, women typically like older. She wasn't exactly traditional prior to meeting Charlie. We've seen that all over the place. Let's keep going. Erika has been in Hollywood by way of acting, just like Andrew Kovac was. See, I'm just constantly making these connections. Blake Neff connected to Tucker Carlson. Blake Neff connected to Stu Peters. I love Stu Peters, by the way. Has great content. But he's connected to these people. Andrew Kovac, we've done a full breakdown on him. He is as suspicious as anybody over there. Erika Kirk has a history of acting, working in real estate that ties her to Jeffrey Epstein. She has a history in the military. She has the history of dating people at the Daily Wire. She has the history of dating NBA players, professional ball players. She has a history of dating professional baseball players. There's so many things with it. There's something. That's right. She has a history of modeling. Modeling. Are y'all following me? Something's off here. Something's way off here. She's a former Miss America, history of dating professional ball players from different sports, a history of acting, a history of being in the tied to the military, parents that are tied to the military, history of potential inappropriate movement of human bodies. This is who Charlie married. Charlie wasn't suspicious. Charlie didn't see what we saw. Charlie didn't see his finances at TPUSA. He only just found out. Somebody else pointed out something I never thought about. They said that to join the military or something to that extent, you got to sign a 4-year contract. I believe that's what they said. And ironically enough, that seemed to be about the amount of time How long were Erika and Charlie married? This is the biggest question I'm wanting to ask people, though, because people will hear this and they'll accept it, but then they'll go on to the next person, the next content creator, and I don't think it's clicking for them. If you just watch these clip of Hunter Kozak clearly appearing to be rehearsing, and we can all agree that nobody at Turning Point USA has quote unquote grieved properly, reacted the right way properly, with telling you that it was issue with his finances, what is that telling you? I hate to break the news, but that does not only suggest that the possibility that Charlie Kirk was set up. There's another possibility. And that could mean that everything we saw that day could be scripted. It could mean that Charlie and Erika had a fake marriage, and that would 100% explain so many of these anomalies. I just believe, like other people have said, that they messed up. I think they made quite a few mistakes that day. I think they made quite a few mistakes that day. And then you have people like myself and many others that have time on our hands, and then we'll start looking into some things. Yeah, man. Let me see. Looking for a post. I want to leave you all with something. There's a post of apparently the gentleman John Bray did an interview, a fantastic interview. At least a little bit I saw was a fantastic interview with Trigger Smart yesterday. Shout out to Trigger Smart. If you all have not seen it, go and check that out when you get a chance. Go show them some love. And here's a great summary of this interview, because it's like 2 hours long, so obviously we can't react to it here. But Sam Parker did a great summary, but I also liked some of the pushback that he gave. He says, I watched John Bray on Trigger Smart today, and here's a summary of some critical pieces of his exploding microphone theory that aren't as well known that I found interesting. This is not his complete theory, and I encourage you to watch the entire interview below. 1. Question, why is there an audible gunshot on recordings, and why do some witnesses describe hearing a gunshot? As we know, many people reported on the news that Charlie Kirk was hit in the chest, before then later changing their tune and saying that he was hit in the neck. As I believe there are many crisis actors out there. So John's answer, there was indeed a gunshot with a real bullet, probably from the perch on the Losi Center roof. This round landed in the car trunk under the tunnel. All right, which reminds me, if you all have ideas that you want to add to that list on my page, you can find it on my YouTube channel under the post tab. Please add anything that I may have left out. I want to make that list as exhaustive as possible. Part of the reason I also think is important is because of reasons like this, because there are going to be a lot of things that connect to one another. In other words, such as that trunk opening and closing, which I covered with the scientist or the physicist a few weeks ago. All right. I covered it with him a few weeks ago, where he stated that he believed that it was all fake. I believe he said that Charlie Kirk was alive, and I believe that he said that Candace Owens is in on fooling everybody and sending people down a different path, or keeping people entertained, rather. That was his theory. They needed a gunshot in order for witnesses to hear a gunshot, and in order to disguise the sound of the mic exploding. In addition, the supersonic match cone of the bullet was the acoustic trigger to signal the road mic to detonate, helping to perfectly synchronize the two separate events and make them appear as one event. Question: why make it so complicated? Why not just pow pow Charlie? John's answer is a gunshot could be unreliable. There's a chance Charlie could survive. You need an absolute guarantee. The mic device ensured this guarantee. Sam adds his own addition to the answer. In past pow powings, this death guarantee was ensured by multiple shooters. JFK, Grassy Knoll, Daltex building next door to the Texas School Depository, RFK, Sirhan in RFK's front, Than Eugene Cesar or Caesar to his rear, MLK, the bushes behind Jim's grill, the roof of the nearby fire station, and maybe the boarding house. Multiple shooters in the Charlie Kirk Revenue would have led to multiple gunshots from different places, hiding the shooters, coordinating multiple shots, framing multiple patsies, and other details would have been much more complicated, lots more moving parts, even though it still was very complex, in my opinion. With the gun mic set up, they shot one shot. They got one shot with one patsy with the absolute guarantee of lethality, not to mention lots of confusion and conflicting witness statements and recordings that muddied the waters. Exactly. If anyone has any other insights into why they chose an exotic device rather than a standard pow-pow on a live box, please let me know your thoughts. I'm certainly not an expert at how to carry these out. Question: how exactly did the mic detonate? How exactly did the mic detonation on a live Charlie? Answer: the mic was rigged to create a high velocity stream of air and gas, similar to a high pressure water drill that can punch through tissue. This high pressure jet pierced through Charlie's torso and out the back of his neck, creating the infamous bulge in the back of Charlie's t-shirt. Cavitation from the hydrostatic shockwave damaged his internal organs, including his brain stems, lungs, and heart valves. He was unalive before the blood came gurgling out of his neck. See picture below. Whoa. This is where Sam differs from John, or differs with John. John maintains that it is not the necklace cross pendant that protrudes from the shirt collar. Sam thinks it clearly is. It doesn't change the overall theory or cause of death, but he thinks it's an important distinction to note. Sam wasn't satisfied with John's explanation on the podcast today. Another point of difference is that he says the circuit board caused the swoosh effect under Charlie's shirt over the left shoulder. I'm not convinced of that. I think it's still probably the necklace pendants. John says there's no other pendants on the necklace besides the cross, but I'm not convinced we could have seen them through the shirt. They might have still been there. His theory is driven by the assumption that there are no other pendants. Maybe, maybe not. Why the differences matter? Under John's theory, the circuit board caused the swooshing and dragged the battery along, causing the injury to the neck. Under my interpretation, it could have been one of the other necklace pendants that caused the neck wound, not the cross, as it's visibly not near the ground. Why these differences don't matter. The pressure jet from the mic unalive Charlie, not the neck wound. That was a secondary unintended consequence. So, can't show the photos, obviously. Let me see. Something else I want to make sure I state is we've all pointed out the fact that Charlie, when Charlie went down, his security team all rushed towards him. Nobody drew their weapons. Nobody stopped and looked around. And to me, it seemed like a rehearsal. It seemed like everyone knew what to do. They appeared to know where to go. The guy that jumped over the table, people seemed to be passing things along to one another. All these things seemed scripted, seemed rehearsed. The moment you even entertain that theory, the moment you watch the footage right after he's hit, you can't unsee it. Because some part of you is going to say, wait, why didn't they turn around to see if there was another shooter? Why didn't they duck for cover? Why weren't they in fear for their life? Why did Mikey McCoy walk away so fast? There's no way you'll be able to watch that footage without noticing that. It stands out like a sore thumb. It sticks out very, very much so. Every security member sprung into action towards Charlie, not trying to protect their own life, not trying to neutralize the threat, not trying to identify if there are multiple threats. None of that mattered. I think we know why. I think we all know why. So yeah, but y'all up in the comment section, man, and let me know what you think about this. What are your thoughts? Let me hop in the comments. Let me get in the comments and see what you all talking about. Thank you for the $5. I wish I had more to give, but you need to know your time is valued, and I personally wanted to thank you for that. It's important to me. Well, thank you so much. You didn't have to give me any of your money, but I appreciate you for doing so. It means a lot. Says a lot about you. And thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the episode today. Elaine. Hello, Miss Elaine. Everybody say hello to Miss Elaine. Good to see you again. Thank you for the $20. Martell, thank you for the $5. We don't see any red on the people who helped and carried him to the SUV either. He bled in the SUV, but not when being moved. That's what I thought too. One would argue, well, maybe there wasn't enough for it to be dripping after they clogged him. But obviously, when you lay him in the SUV, his body making contact to the seats would leave something, since he'll have bloody clothes. But the problem is, we've already established this in the past. It does appear to show that some of them had red liquid on them after the fact. It did show that, in fairness. But I'm still confused how it wasn't dripping. That part I'm not understanding. How was there not any dripping red liquid? Any other scenario, I would imagine that. You know? That's very, very strange to me. Expert or not, like the way he was hit, allegedly, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Thank you for the $20, Gina. I'm back and forth with it all. Hard to believe Candace Owens uncovers some of the things she has in this, or maybe Charlie Kirk survived the bang and they took him out in the car. He had too much political influence to not have him gone. Something I heard, somebody threw a couple of possibilities out. They said either, shoot, I wish I saved this. They said either they took Charlie out and Candace and others are sincere, particularly Candace, because she was friends with him and she ran in that circle. Either they took him out and Candace is really sincere and standing up for a friend, or this is a hoax. Candace knows it's a hoax and she's leading us astray, or it's a hoax. He faked it and they kept Candace in the dark. So she is still therefore sincere because she believes he is no longer alive. I am juggling between the three of those. When I listen and I watch her, she seems sincere, but I do consider her an athlete. I do consider her a celebrity, you know, just like the rest of these people. So she don't get any special treatment either. Yes, she seems sincere. Yes, she's shared a lot of great information, but I also can't deny the fact that Candace seems to have some groundbreaking news or evidence or update every other day. That's either really impressive or really suspicious or both, you know? Thank you, Martell, for the $5. The Erika, the ER story is a lie. What if he was actually taken to the airport, put on the plane with his transponder off on his way to Arizona, then came right back there? I'm not convinced Charlie Kirk went to a hospital. Maybe that's the role of some other people involved in the investigation to convince us that all these other things did happen, which are other reasons why we still should be suspicious of TPUSA. I don't know. It's definitely something to consider. What evidence do we have he ever went to a hospital? Just like we don't have evidence that Tyler Robinson turned himself in. That footage disappeared, just like any footage of Charlie Kirk and the team showing up to a hospital disappeared. Think about that for a second. We already have footage of Charlie getting taken out, right? What motive would the FBI have of taking the hospital footage? There's nothing about that would help or hurt the defense, that would help or hurt the prosecution. So what? I'm not understanding that theory. Like, why would they take that footage? Maybe the footage never existed. Maybe there is no footage. Maybe they never went to a hospital. Maybe they rushed Charlie to the SUV because they had motive to get him somewhere else. Thank you for the $20. Control your vessel. About to sign for your Patreon for the QB. About to sign up for your Patreon for the Kobe Bryant doc. I've been all over the Black Boule connection with Kobe, Shaq, and LeBron. Absolutely. What is your opinion on clones? Movies like The Island make you wonder. How about the Kyle Garrett Kobe rabbit hole? Yeah. So I dropped the Kyle Garrett. You're talking about the football player who just signed and moved to LA. He's going to be in my Kobe Bryant series as well. I want to be careful what I talk about on YouTube. I'll just say this as far as it relates to clones. Cloning is real. Cloning is 100% real. Cloning humans is not always the easiest thing for them to do, but cloning is real. And the similarities I've briefly spoken about, I think it's about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, yeah, very interesting guy. Plays basketball like Kobe, talks like Kobe, has teeth like Kobe, has facial features. His phenotype is similar to Kobe's. He just got moved to LA to play football. It's very strange that he can dunk and do windmills. And not only is he doing it as a football player, but he's doing it consistently. And it looks like the mannerisms of Kobe. He has similar lifestyle things as Kobe. Is strange. Those things are going to come up in the series. The Kobe Bryant series is going to be the most extensive things I've ever done. I said 10 parts. It may end up being like 15. Each video is going to be 20, 30, an hour long. You know, it's going to be a lot of information. It's undeniable with Kobe. And for the record, Kobe's my favorite player ever, based on my childhood. But I'm not an idiot about who these people are. Thank you for the $5, Gino. We're catching on and not believing them anymore. So the powers that be are getting desperate. This awakening makes this a wonderful time to be alive. I agree. And it's just so odd. Like when I show people the Hunter Kozak video, I'm wondering what people are going to say, because that's not so now everybody at TPUSA set up Charlie, not Charlie working with everybody at TPUSA, not Charlie potentially being on it based on his financial records and the irregularities, the financial irregularities that preceded his demise or his potential demise on September the 10th. But now other people like Hunter Kozak are conveniently, perfectly timing the right question at the right time so that the pow can go off. No. Charlie was mounted that day, and apparently that had never happened. Just a lot of weird things. Thank you for the $10, Gina. Candace Owens had a good point when asking why Andrew Kovac gave Charlie Kirk texts about Juice to Joe Kent, as if to point everyone towards our greatest allies, a diversion. And when Kent didn't leak them, how they leaked out to Candace Owens. Let me read this over. Candace Owens had a good point when asking why Andrew Kovac gave Charlie Kirk texts about that one. Okay, I was like, what? I see what you're saying. The juice. Okay, yeah. Candace Owens had a good point when asking why Andrew Kovac gave Charlie Kirk texts about the people that was pressuring him to Joe Kent, as if to point everyone towards our greatest ally as a diversion. And when Kent didn't leak them, how they leaked out to Candace Owens. Right. I thought about that. I thought about that the moment everything happened. I may have already presented that on this show, actually. Yeah, that gives me something to think about. I got to think on that one. Yeah. Yeah. I never saw a video of HK and TF. Very crazy and telling. Yeah. HK and TF. Who is HK? Am I missing something? Oh, Hunter Kozak and Tara Farnsworth. Okay, I follow. I had to make the connection. So many people discussed. Never saw the video of Hunter and Tara. Yeah, that's crazy and telling. That's what I'm saying. Like, you see that, you don't think there's something there? Like, no, bro. Motioning towards each other, rehearsing beforehand, taking footage, paving over, recording yourself. Okay. Hunter Kozak and wife left new baby in NICU alone on 9/10. Really? That would be crazy. Is that true? Shout out to Gina for the $10. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, by the way, Big Chap, thank you for the $2. Big psyop, whether Charlie Kirk's here or not, they've been harvesting our negative energy and keeping us low vibration for a long time. We need to blow this bull butter apart. I've never been believed in coincidences. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Earlier, I read the statement from the gentleman that stated Didi has made a lot of money from this. Yes, I've made money from this over the past 8 or 9 months, more money than I've ever made from one situation in a short period of time before, but I hadn't made like bukus of money. My channel is 100% shadow banned. Everybody knows that. When you come to my channel, it's very obvious I'm shadow banned. I'm grateful for those of you that still tune in. By the way, a way to know when I post a video or I'm going live and YouTube does not consistently alert you, join my Patreon. Link is in the description. Even if you join as a free member, what I do is I'll post videos on Patreon from the YouTube channel so that you'll be alerted on there as well, so that you'll always know when I'm going live or when I am when I'm posting a video on YouTube. You'll still be informed and in tuned. And that way YouTube can't shadow ban content from Patreon. Maybe Patreon will find ways to do it. I don't know. I haven't seen that as of yet. But it's very obvious that my channel is shadow banned. Like, in my opinion, like there should probably be thousands of more people that see my shows when I go live, but I'm grateful for those of you that are able to see it. Shout out to the new members. Johnny America. Where did I just see this logo? I saw this person's logo somewhere. Were they already a commenter? I just saw this person's logo somewhere. Did I respond to you in a comment section or something? This is my biggest question about Candace. Well, first of all, thank you for the $10. Johnny America says, this is my biggest question about Candace. She wishes she could have saved her little brother, Charlie Kirk. Why isn't she trying to save Officer Tatum? He's definitely in the grips. The best way I can respond to that is we don't know if she is or if she isn't. Clearly, Officer Tatum is as well. I mean, it's embarrassing. Clearly, Matt Walsh is as well. It's embarrassing. I don't really care for either two of them. I think both of those people are actors and agents, 100%. For you to take a position that is clearly in the wrong and your audience who supports and cares for you, 90% of them are telling you how wrong you are. You decide to double down and pretend that you don't see their comments is wild. You're an agent. If you're not able to pivot in times of of being wrong, it says a lot about a person's character. It's because they can't change their position. Thank you for the $5 conspiracy podcast. I don't understand why they would give Candace incriminating pics of SUV. I said that before. I want to know who gave that to her. But when I ask questions like that, people in the comment section, this is how I know like it's a cult following. It's like the people that follow Trump. You can prefer Trump over Kamala Harris. I don't care for either, but if you force me to choose one, I will still choose neither. But if I had to choose somebody, it would probably be Trump. Just for immediate changes, surface level changes. Even though they're both two wings of the same bird, the country is going to continue in the same directions. They're going to just make different decisions that are both horrible, awful decisions, right? But it's like if you were a supporter of Trump. If you support him, you say, man, I would take Trump over Kamala any day. Woo! Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you being objective. And the moment you start being critical of Trump and making fair, objective statements about Trump, they start looking at you like you're crazy. Like, hey, man, what you doing? Stay in line. You have no place. You're not worthy of noticing. You know, it's the same thing with Candace. Like, you can agree with most things with Candace, and the moment you start to like question certain decisions, you're like, that's different, and I wonder why they're giving her this, and I wonder who's giving her this. They're like, I mean, it's in the comment section. They'll unsubscribe to you. They'll start saying they'll use words like jealous. I'm like, jealous of what? I'm asking fair questions. They don't care. Don't question Candace Owens. I'm like, that's weird. And I'm never going to fit into that category. So I asked this question the other day, and then like I had people to say, why does it matter? What do you mean? That's a fair question. They go, no, why does it matter? What matters is that we're getting the truth. We don't know if it's the truth. What if these photos have been altered? What if they're trying to lead us in a different direction? We have to ask these questions. You know, that's all. The most authentic creator I know. Oh man, I appreciate that. It means a lot, Lori. Thank you. And thank you for the $20. But that's just the point that I know. And you know, to that original guy, the commenter that I read at the beginning of this live, to his point, he recognizes that a lot of people know not to speak down on Candace or not to question things from Candace, not to speak down on it necessarily, but to even be critical of certain things regarding certain creators and certain people, because the folks are going to stop supporting them. Didi is a liar. Why did he look straight at his camera, aka his viewers, for that long with his eyes fully closed? Do not trust someone that can't keep their eyes open. That's why his Cash App is that. First of all, I'm not discouraging anybody from questioning anybody. Totally encourage you to do it. Little old me, I'm not connected to nobody. My Cash App is left hand because I've told this story many times. I'm left-handed. And when I was in middle school, I used to shoot with two hands. And I was always a really good shooter. One day I was over my cousin's house in the backyard shooting around with them, and he noticed something different. He said, "Do you shoot with your left hand?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm left-handed." He was like, "Bro, all this time I've known you, I never knew that. I thought you was just right-handed shooting with two hands because you weren't strong enough to shoot with." I was like, "No, I'm just left-handed and I just shoot from the left. That's why I shoot on the left side." He's okay. The easiest way for me to remember what hand you shoot with, I'm gonna just start calling you left hand. That's my name. He calls me left hand. You know? So there's that, man. I don't want to waste too much of your time. Y'all hop in the comment section to give me your thoughts. Do you believe these people are actors and not just the people that were present that day? I mean, like even some content creators. Do you believe that people have been sent out here as controlled ops to help control both sides of the narrative, right? To help with the political theater. What are your thoughts? Are you able to think for yourself? Have you thought of some things to add to that list that I named at the very beginning? Hop in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. I'm going to catch you all in the next one. Peace. Oh, yeah. Didi got a podcast.
Attitudes and our work ethic become very important in realizing our goals and opening up possibilities. I had lunch a couple of weeks ago with a recent graduate at UCA. And his story is really fascinating. It's one of overcoming homelessness during his time pursuing his degree, first at a community college here in Arkansas, and then finishing his bachelor's degree here at UCA. His narrative ranges from estrangement from family for many years to a hopeful reunion with mother and siblings. His record is one of overcoming odds in a way that I probably could not, and certainly demonstrating levels of tenacity and patience and optimism that I can only marvel at. He wanted to talk with me about his new job and his career path going forward. I really need to be there to learn from him because that's where the real value was.
Everything I say in this video is alleged. Allegedly. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. Y'all can just repeat after me. I really appreciate it. Alright. No such thing. Come on, we can do better than that. Talk to it. Talk to it. Now let's start it over. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. You're worse than the rich white people or the rich white Jews that own these record labels because they don't even understand these populations. You have a lot closer relationship to these people and you're leading them to hellfire. You are leading them in the wrong direction in the name of getting rich and famous. How dare you? Oh, yeah, Didi got a podcast.